I hope you're doing well. It's Ben from My Cycling Coach, lead sports scientist and founder here at My Cycling Coach, where we have now helped over 500 cyclists achieve 3 watts per kilo and beyond with their riding, fitness, power, body composition and weight management there. And this is actually something that I really wanted to dive into today, as I get a lot of questions over the year, hundreds of questions, messages, emails from cyclists where they are confused with how to align their nutrition and fueling with the training, the riding that they're doing, whether that be through doing a structured training plan and not sure how to align the nutrition and fueling with that, or if they're just doing their general weekly riding, how they can really try to optimize their fueling just to get more from that riding. But at the same time, and this is the key, it's being able to make those gains with your power and fitness whilst then being able to achieve any body composition or weight management targets at the same time. So today I wanted to dive into what I hope will be one of the most simple frameworks that you've listened to, heard around how to align that nutrition and fueling with the types of rides that you're doing, or just generally as you go through your week, day to day. I make these videos as I've now been doing this for the best part of 10-15 years, competing myself, but also the studies that I've done and the research, but also the hundreds of clients that I've worked with over the past 10 to 15 years. If I can help you fast track your goals within, and these videos, the specific ones that I'm referring to are improving that power and fitness whilst achieving any body composition targets at the same time, then I've done my job with these videos, and I've hopefully put this into the information that will really help you do so. So let's get stuck in. So really looking at a training week, I call this my smart fueling philosophy, if you like. And it's really just starting by looking at what you have planned on that specific day. And this is where actually having some structure with your training can also really help with this, as it's then much easier to actually align nutrition and fueling with that. If just really at a basic level, you know as you go through the weeks that the days that you're actually going to ride on, you're going to train on, you're going to exercise, just having even the most basic structured framework like that with those rides, you may not have any specific focuses, you might not be doing any intervals or anything, but if you just know there's a day that when you're going to be riding, it's much easier to then align your nutrition and fueling with this. So let's say, it's a day where you're going to be riding, you're going to be doing some training. On this day, it's really important, especially if you're doing any higher intensity work. If you are following a structured program, you might be doing some threshold intervals, you might be doing some VO2 max intervals, you may be doing some longer endurance rides as well, that you really are trying to get some carbohydrates in on that day. And I would normally always say the meal where you want to try to target getting those carbohydrates in is basically the main meal prior to that ride that you're going to do. So let's just say an example, going through the week, you may be somebody who has to train later in the evening when you get in from work. You may be able to get in from work and do your training, or you may actually get in from work and then have to sort the kids out, be with the family for a bit, and then even do your session even later in the evening. But in this example, the best place to actually then put the bulk of your carbohydrates, if you like, on that day would be at around lunchtime. So a lunch on that day, it might be, if you are training later in the evening, it could be something like, just some real basic examples here, you can obviously use ones that you prefer and that are your dietary preferences or the meals that you like, but it might be something like a jacket potato, a pasta pot, really quick and easy to get hold of. It might be something with rice that you might just make yourself and put into a Tupperware and take with you whilst you're at work. It may even be, worst case, if you're on your feet all day, you've got the train down into London or you've had to travel somewhere, just trying to get a sandwich or baguette with some wholemeal bread and something that's obviously going to fill that, but just trying to get some carbohydrates through some wholemeal bread there as part of that lunchtime meal is really just going to allow you to get some carbs into the system to start topping up your muscle and liver glycogen from midday. What you can then do, especially if you're training later in the evening, is sort of around mid-afternoon, so this may be around sort of 3-4 o'clock, is again just have a slightly higher carbohydrate snack. So this might be something like maybe a little bit more sugary based snack, as it might be referred to sometimes. So this could be an energy bar, a granola bar, muesli bar. It may even be something along those lines like a muesli or small cereal. You may have, if you get back home a little bit earlier, just to top up. It may even be, if you get back home a little bit earlier before starting your session later, you even just have a couple of slices of toast. It's just going to get some carbs top up. Or it might be a piece of fruit, something like if you can eat a banana or something, 20 to 25 grams in the average size banana, that's also just going to help you top up those carb levels, because obviously going from lunch to then later in the evening, that is quite a long period of time. But what's great about this, you would have digested those carbohydrates by then. As I say, you can then top up with that carbohydrate snack, and then you can go into doing your training session and you will feel a lot better fueled. And the great thing about this is you haven't had to really do anything extra on what you're day-to-day nutrition may already be. You've just incorporated those carbohydrates into what would have been your main meal on the day anyway, and trying to get a snack in mid and afternoon is really easy and practical to do, and you can do that with any of the examples that I've just given there. On the flip side of this, let's say it's a training day where you're going to be doing maybe some structured intervals, or you may just be going out for a longer ride. Going to be some climbing in there. It's going to be quite a fast-paced ride. As I say, it doesn't always have to be structure, but you're going to be doing this ride or training session very early in the morning. So you may have to get up and do your riding at, let's just say 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's more than likely that you're not then going to be getting up 3 hours before then and really trying to get some carbohydrates in, just from, practical side of things. Sleep is also obviously very important, especially if you've got, busy day at work, family, and everything else that's going on. So the way to tackle this is, again, look at the main meal that you're going to have before that session, which in this case is actually going to be the evening prior. So let's just say on a Wednesday morning, early morning, that's when you're going to be doing this ride. On the Tuesday evening, this will be your main meal prior to that. That's where you then actually want to incorporate those carbohydrates. And again, this could be something like pasta, potatoes, rice, wholemeal breads, grains, oats, just some examples that you want to then try and have on your main meal on the Tuesday evening. What this allows you to do is top up your muscle and liver glycogen levels overnight. You can then get up in the morning and you don't have to actually focus on really eating as much in the morning. You may just get up in the morning, have your cup of coffee, have your cup of tea, whatever it is you drink in the morning. And you can then have a very small breakfast if you need it, or it may even just be an energy bar, a very small bowl of cereal, one slice of toast or something. It might just be you have a gel if gels work for you. But this way, you've actually really got a good carbohydrate meal the evening prior. You can get up in the morning. You haven't got to eat as much. You can get up a lot closer to your sessions, maybe even just half an hour before, jump on the bike and have a really good quality ride or session. And this is where riders in the past, certainly if I find that they've been doing if this ride is going to be a higher intensity ride with some efforts in it or some climbing, that they're actually been going into those rides really quite low in energy because they haven't been taking that approach. They've almost been going into those rides fasted, and they've been doing it fasted more because they just haven't really been eating or focusing on the carbohydrates as much. So taking that approach with the morning sessions, certainly for any high intensity sessions, is really going to help you there. So that's really training day examples there. As I say, the main macronutrient that we really want to try and focus on there is getting those carbohydrates, and it will just be the meal prior to doing your ride, the main meal that will allow you to then go into that session feeling a lot more energized, get more from your session, actually start to make progress, have better quality sessions, and through this increase your power and fitness. The other meals around that can then just generally be a bit leaner in carbs. You won't need as much carbohydrates, certainly, as I say, if you have got a body composition target or weight management. The difference is then on a rest day, and this is again that smart fueling philosophy, as I say, it's just looking at what you have planned on the day ahead. And let's say, for example, it is a rest day where you're not really going to be doing any exercise. You may have quite a physical job, so you will need to fuel for that. But let's say maybe more so you are somebody who has quite a sedentary job. You're at a desk all day. You don't really do much physical activity through the day. It's mainly your cycling or your riding is actually your main form of exercise, or where you're actually going to be burning the most calories in the day. So on a rest day, for example, then the main change that we will make here is we will just then reduce the carbohydrates down, because we don't need those as much to fuel any high intensity training or longer rides that you may be doing. You can still, of course, have some carbohydrates just for your day to day, but you can substantially reduce those down as you would do compared to on a training day like we just discussed there. So the macronutrients that you really want to focus on a rest day will actually be your protein intake. So what will be the difference? Your meals maybe then on a rest day, they will be a lot higher in protein. So sources of protein, if you can eat meats, fish, eggs, dairy. If you can't eat those, there's obviously lots of vegans options out there. The lentils, beans, nuts, tofu, other high protein sources that vegan and vegetarians can also use. But the difference on a rest day is basically, if we look at a meal, what a meal may look like on a rest day, it will have very high protein sources, so some of the ones that I've mentioned there. And then around this, I just tried to say include some good quality calories with that. And what do I mean by good quality calories? Fruits, vegetables, really try to get those in with those meals. So it might be chicken salad, fish salad, it might be something, a meat dish for dinner with some nice vegetables there. Really important at this time of year, I find, really getting those greens in as well, as we're coming into flu season, and it's really important that you are getting lots of micronutrients into your diet, the vitamins, the minerals, really important to go with this as well. And that's the main change. And really, with your protein intake, whether you're doing a structured training program or you're not doing a structured training program, it's trying to keep your minimum daily protein intake at 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight as your minimum daily total. This is one to support training adaptations, ensure that you're recovering quicker from your sessions, you're maximizing the adaptations there, you're reducing soreness after any hard training sessions. But then really on a rest day, what that's also going to allow you to do is curb any hunger and those cravings of maybe the more sugary based food. So if we know that we're keeping that protein at a real good level like that on a rest day, and you're getting that amount of protein in, real good quality calories. Protein has been shown to suppress hunger a bit there, but the main reason for this, as well as I say, is you're just eating a higher amount of protein. And then because of that, that's going to curb any hunger, any cravings for maybe those more poor quality carbohydrates or foods, as we say, which may then affect, obviously, any body composition or weight management goals there. So that is really, as I say, the most simple framework that we can apply to it, I think, is really just looking at, or what I say, my smart fueling philosophy. What is planned on the day? Right, it's a training session, it's some higher intensity intervals. The main thing I'm going to focus on with my nutrition is ensuring the main meal prior to doing that session. If you're doing it in the evening, then for example, it will be lunchtime. If you're doing it early in the morning, it will be the evening prior, the dinner, or your evening meal the evening prior. That's where you want to try and get the carbohydrates in. What's the difference on a rest day or a really easy day? Is then reducing the carbohydrates down, ensuring that that protein is staying at a 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight throughout, and just including lots of fruits and veg around that. And if you follow this structure just generally through the week, it will be so much easier just for you to then align your nutrition, because you'll be able to look what you have planned on the day, align that, as I've mentioned, and that will really then allow you to, this smart fueling philosophy now applies, as I say, for the past 10, 15 years with hundreds of cyclists, hundreds of my clients, and they've really been able to see fantastic gains with their power and fitness, had more energy in their training sessions, recover better through the week, not feel as sore, have more energy, but at the same time, whilst being able to make those gains, actually achieve any weight loss targets or body composition targets whilst doing so. So I hope you found that useful. As always, if you did, my goal is to make these videos to fast track you to your results and goals. So if that's helped, then I've done my job. If you did find it useful, please drop a like on the video. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, welcome to the channel. Please, hit that subscribe button. Every week I'm putting out lots of content around, training, nutrition, fueling, and whatever it may be. And if there are any specific topics that you would like to maybe learn a little bit more about, or something you might be struggling with, then please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and put some content together around those topics to help you guys as well. But have a great rest of your day, and speak to you soon.